If you're looking for some straight-up marketing advice that's super chilled and also a bit of a laugh, then grab yourself a drink and get ready for Marketing and Margaritas, a podcast that makes marketing entertaining. Brought to you by Rebel Nation, direct from regional Queensland.
Hi and welcome to Marketing and Margaritas. Today I am joined by Jenelle from BrandFactor and we're going to be discussing merchandise trends for 2025. So merchandise is things like, you know, when you get like stubby coolers, tote bags, and that's just the tip of the iceberg, but all that kind of stuff, corporate gifts, etc. So we're going to be looking ahead at what you want to be doing in 2025 with your merch, etc. So Jenelle has been on the podcast previously as well, way back in episode 37 when we were first starting, and it wasn't even a video then, it was just audio. So she's super excited to be here today on video. She was like, please get me back so I can be on video. And I was like, that's fine, I'll do that for you.
Absolutely.
So that was episode 30. Oh no, not 37. That was episode 34. Yeah. At episode 127, I did a solo soundbite episode about end of year gifts and my opinion on them, etc. And you wrote back to me and you're like, oh, you know, like gave me some good feedback. And I was like, how about instead of me just rambling on, we actually have someone who's an expert on merchandise talk about 2025. So we're recording all our end of year episodes at the moment, and a lot of them are focused on next year because it's basically already here.
That's right, we're in November, so
it's just over and done with. Cool. So before we actually get into the merch stuff, let's get into the Jenelle stuff.
Yeah.
So give us a bit of a background as to you know, career-wise, etc.
Yeah.
What are the highlights?
Highlights. Lots of highlights. So I've got a degree in business management.
Oh, really?
I'm a financial planner by trade.
Oh, dude. I feel Wow, so that's what an actual business owner looks like. Good to know. Interesting.
And we've been doing merchandise for 20 years next year.
Yeah, right.
So
so you know
it's
a
fun.
touch about it. I mean, you've got a smattering of knowledge.
Yeah, and we've seen the industry evolve as well.
Oh, absolutely.
So, and still evolving. It's just changing every day. So it's really exciting.
Is it like marketing and you just kind of like, even though things move and progress and are changing all the time, you still find there are some things from way back when that just still work really well? It's like 2 decades on and there's just some stuff where you're like, this will always work.
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
I love that. Okay, so how did you actually get started in merch then?
So we actually had a retail shop in a shopping centre, and a little bit of corporate stuff happened and the parent company went into receivership, and anyway, so we picked up we started being an independent shop rather than a franchise, and that meant we could order our own products in. And so people started coming in and saying, oh, this torch or whatever nifty gadget thing would look really good with my logo on it. So
and you're like, yes it would. Business idea.
We worked out how to do that, and that's how we started. So our first clients came from that. And then we ran the two businesses separately for quite a few years, and then we got sick of the shopping centre. And worked out that this business is much more flexible, suits our lifestyle. And
because you guys have kids and everything too. Those little critters always screw things up.
I know, they do.
Plan everything around them.
Yeah, so when we started the retail shop, we had no kids, and you know, we had this plan, and then that all went out the window. And and this business it's great. It serves our lifestyle.
Oh, that's so nice.
It's good.
That's good.
It's still stressful. It's still busy. As business is, but.
Especially when you're the last link in the chain.
I
always find like in that marketing industry or whatever, there's like, you know, there's our print guys or our signage guys. In our team, it's like our web dev person because they set things live. And then you're like, our merch thing, it's sort of like the client, oh, we need this thing really rushed. And so we're like, all right, quotes and designs and sorting all the stuff, and then we're like, push you back. Okay, now here's the stuff. Can you please still magically make that happen in the time frame?
That's right. So we made a pact way back then that we'd always be in charge of our own destiny, and not be governed by any parent companies or leases or anything like that. So that's what suits us. So it's good.
And so why still merch today? Like, yes, it suits your lifestyle as a business, but why merch? What is it about merch that rings your bell?
it's exciting when you get it right. And it's exciting working with clients to come up with a plan to meet their goals. And when you nail it, you really nail it, and that's exciting. So I really love that aspect of it. And finding the right product. Like sometimes that takes days, weeks even.
That's because there's so many. Like we've been doing our rebrand refresh stuff or whatever recently, and Min sent me through a bunch of quotes from you and it's just like 3 things we're looking at. And the quote is pages long. And I'm like, how many pens do you have?
Oh, and that's just like a selection because I know your business. I know what it looks like.
Yeah, you've been doing our merch the whole time.
Like I wouldn't recommend these pens, but these ones I think suit you. So I love that side
to
of
look
it.
at a pen and be like, that would suit Jade. That is a Jade pen.
Yeah, because I wouldn't recommend that pen to like a builder kind of thing that wants some cheap pens to give away, obviously. So I love the aspect of matching the product to the business and to the reasons for giving.
And like you said, I know like when you now, like a shared client of ours recently, they did this massive sponsorship of some volunteers and you work with them to put together those packs. So when we did the big launch for these volunteers and, you know, because they're an amazing group of people doing all these awesome things and then getting like basically this swag bag of all this cool stuff that had their own specific logo and stuff on it too. Like I was there at the announcement when they were getting handed out and people behind me like, oh, is there enough to go around? Oh, what's this? And stuff. Oh, no, you just wait there. They're bringing out more. Like, they were so keen,
and they were all quality gifts.
Oh, and they're beautiful. Like, they're such beautiful items that you just, like, because there was, like, lunch bag and all kinds of stuff they're actually going to use as part of their duties and stuff. But it kind of, it just gives them a bit more of a sense of identity and ownership and everything. And it was, it was really quite heartwarming.
And, you know, it's a lot of hard work to get to that point.
Dude, it was a lot of hard work to get to that point.
As you know.
And that was just one aspect of that whole thing. That was a big day.
So, that's what I love about it. And that's what I think keeps you in when you get that feedback. It's like, oh, we really did do good.
Because when you're running around and stressing and getting samples and figuring things out and, you know,
making sure there's stock.
Oh,
that's another thing, you know, like
especially since COVID, man. I remember when that happened and having a chat to you about like product lines and wait times and all that kind of stuff. Like your business really got turned so on its head. Even though it's not like a face-to-face business, you guys really were affected by that.
Just stock levels and the continuation of things being restocked.
But it was like, oh yeah, I can quote you on this, but if you don't order by this, you know,
it's going to be gone.
/ it could be gone before anyway. And P.S. it's going to take twice as long because freight issue. You know what I mean? Like it was just the logistics got really.
That's the hard
intense
stuff, but you know,
that's the crap stuff.
But you have to have that to go with the fun stuff. So anyway,
that's what Min does. I don't have to worry about it that much. Okay, cool. So that's all about you. Let's get into merch. So trends to watch for 2025. What do we need to be looking at?
I think sustainable products are really on the trend upwards.
Give me some examples of what a sustainable product means.
So
like recycled toilet paper or...
That took me a second.
Sorry. I just came back from Italy and in some of the shops they have toilet paper, like joke toilet paper, I assume, with printed faces of very much hated world politicians.
Oh, right. Okay.
It was really hilarious.
And it was recycled.
Yeah, but I was really tempted to buy it because I'm like, I also don't like that gentleman. But yeah, sorry. Anyway, that's totally tangent.
I'll have to check if we've got that in our range. But yeah, recycled products. So your traditional core categories like your water bottles, cups, bags, hats, clothing. So they can be organic cotton, for example. They can be recycled plastic, recycled stainless steel, recycled
stainless steel.
Yeah, recycled aluminium, recycled just about anything. Water bottles made out of sugarcane waste.
Oh, I have seen those.
Yeah.
They're cool.
Yeah, so those kind of products are really on the trend upwards. There are some challenges with sustainable products.
Yeah, like what?
So like recycled plastic is a great idea, but sometimes the durability of it
Isn't the
doesn't
same as the
stand up.
original.
Yeah. So we've had a few instances like a recycled frisbee. It's made out of recycled plastic, but because the kids are throwing it all the time,
It's getting some pretty hardcore wear and
it's
tear.
not as good as traditional plastic. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
one example.
And that's it with your merch. You do, like, nothing on earth ever lasts forever.
No.
But you want to try and get as much longevity out
That's
of something
right,
as
yeah.
you can before
Yeah.
it becomes that inevitable
Yeah.
whatever. And it's sort of, exactly. If that's happening sooner rather than later,
Yeah.
then that's
Yeah.
a bit of annoying. But then again, I guess that's just the trade-off of using that recycled material.
Yeah, we just recommend that you get a sample first, and then you know what you're getting.
Yeah.
The other, so it's not just the material that might be sustainable; it might be the way the product is manufactured. So it could
like processes and stuff.
So they might use energy efficient processes. They might be run by solar. They might use inks that aren't so harsh to the environment, things like that. And then there's
a lot of aspects to it.
and then there's some that might say, if you buy this cup, we'll donate a certain percentage to ocean cleanups and things like that. So, or not-for-profit charities and that. So there's a lot of different aspects of the sustainability and being eco-friendly.
Yeah. And that's that kind of social conscience kind of aspect to it then, with that giving back and everything as well. Yeah, okay. I guess when it comes to, like, do you find that people are coming to you asking for those items specifically? Like, it's like
some.
where it's kind of like, I want to, we want to make sure that everything we're doing in business is just that little bit. You know what I mean? We don't have to be amazing, but if we can just be that little bit
and
better
just be
than where we were.
seen to be trying kind of thing.
Yeah.
But in saying that, these products don't suit some businesses. Like, for example, if you're a business that manufactures plastics and you want some giveaways to give away, you're not going to give away something that's bamboo.
Yeah, that's it.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
you'll want traditional plastic.
That's right.
Because that's actually aligned with what your business offering is.
Yeah. So if it's aligned, the other thing that I've found is that if you offer someone a traditional pen, for example, and then a recycled pen option, it might be more expensive.
Yeah.
Because of the process.
I was saying, because it takes so much more processing. Yeah. And price is still a factor, man.
Yeah, and it comes 99% of the time it comes down to price if they don't have the values of being sustainable and eco-friendly. So it's a bit of a trade-off, but...
Well, sometimes I think too is some things are like a nice to have and some things are a must have.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, if I'm looking at being more sustainable in my business, all right, we're going to be turning off everything at the end of the day, so we're not using extra energy, but might not be able to actually afford the more expensive merch. We still have to go with our regular stuff for now, sort of thing. So it's kind of like there's that, you can't do everything all at once. Like no one, well, I mean, sure, some people are that amazing, but for most of us, we're just trying to do our best to get through each day.
Yeah, that's right, And then we have, like some businesses that rip up the ground and, that's their business. Not naming anyone, but and then they want the sustainable merch so that they're kind of, I guess it's their contribution back to the environment a little bit.
Well, I guess them more so than anyone need to be conscious of that, because it's sort of like if you're taking so much to create your business, then giving back should be a pretty high priority.
Yeah. And then some businesses have KPIs that they need to meet to say that a certain product needs to have certain sustainability standards. So
because there's certain things for like tenders and all that kind of stuff as well, where you need to meet certain requirements and whatever. And so does that mean for you, like you need to be so much more aware of your supply chain and what people are doing as well, sort of thing?
So we need to be able to source the product, and we're lucky that we have suppliers that can custom make products. So if I go to someone and say, I need a recycled plastic remote control for the air conditioner kind of thing.
So it doesn't have to be just off the shelf. You can actually do stuff as well. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so when it comes to off the shelf stuff then, and we're looking in that considering the challenges of those sustainable, eco-friendly products,
Yeah.
what are the top few products that you would recommend where the cost difference isn't massive, and it's going to be still sort of as durable-ish kind of thing?
Probably pens and notebooks.
Yep.
Like we've had some really good notebooks lately that are made out of recycled milk bottles, plastic milk bottles.
Ah, right.
And they're a little...
Them fuckers are turning up everywhere.
I know. So we have to... It's funny because you have to use the recycled plastic milk bottle to be able to get the recycled plastic notebook. And the paper inside is recycled. Mm-hmm. So they're a little bit more expensive than your traditional notebook. So, but they still look good. They're not...
Not the kind of the grainy thing.
No.
Recycled paper back in the day used to be not that attractive.
Yeah, and recycled paper now you wouldn't even know.
No. Yeah.
So,
yeah. Okay, so notebooks and pens are kind of
notebooks and pens are probably
easy way to...
Yeah, and the similar pricing. But then when you get to water bottles, cups,
any of those
bags,
bigger, more heavy-duty kind of items, it's probably the price difference is noticeable.
It's a bit more noticeable. So
yeah. Okay, all right, good to know. All right, what else should we be looking for in 2025 for our merch and corporate gifts?
I think technology is on the trend upwards, but quality technology. So
we don't want cheap crap?
No. Like, there's no point giving someone a power bank that is so low powered that it can't charge our phones now, because our phones are high powered. So you need something that's got a little bit of oomph to it.
Yeah. And I guess that's the whole thing. Like what I always say with clients with merch and stuff is that they're like, oh, let's just get some coolers or whatever and stick our thing on it. I'm like, do you actually think that they're going to want it?
Yeah.
Like, think about yourself. Do you want something that looks cool and or is interesting and useful, or are you just going to get a piece of shit and throw it out?
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like you've got to really consider who your end person is and what they're going to be wanting, because the whole purpose of merch is not just to hand something out.
No, absolutely. Have a plan. Know who your audience is, who you're giving it to, and the reason for giving. So, is it a thank you? Is it a sales incentive? Is it a mass giveaway at an expo? What are you going to do with it, and have that plan? So, and that those ideas relate to any type of business. They need to know what they're going to do with it. And who they're going to give it to.
So when you say like tech is on the rise, what's some examples of some tech products that are really trending?
So like a high-powered power bank.
Power bank's the one where you...
when your phone's going flat and you're at the beach.
Yeah, that's what we took one on our trip or whatever, because it's sort of thing like I didn't get a roaming SIM because I couldn't be bothered. But I travelled with my nephew and he had a roaming SIM, so we used his phone for Google Maps and shit everywhere. And that's why we had a power bank to keep his thing, but I didn't actually do it. He did it.
He did it, yeah. So things like that you can get solar-powered ones now.
Oh, wow.
So that if you are out camping in the bush,
it can keep recharging.
That's right. You don't need your power to recharge.
Solar-powered power banks.
Yeah,
I like that.
And they're not cheap. So you've got to know your audience, and you're not going to hand them out willy-nilly at a trade expo. You want to give them to your, top 10 or 50 clients, whatever.
That's when we talk about thinking about purpose and stuff too. I sometimes find like it's so weird when people are thinking about merch and like they'll do a thank you gift for a client and spend like, $150 on some random hamper with some wine and shit in it, and nothing in that hamper has a single thing to do with them.
Yeah.
But then, a piece of merch that's like $50 a piece, they're like, oh, that's too much. It's like you spent 3 times as much on something that's got nothing to do with you, mate.
And it's got everyone else's name on it.
Yeah, exactly. As opposed to $50 a unit for something that has your name on it that you can then pair with like a nice bottle of wine still, and you'd still come in under budget compared to what you're doing.
Absolutely.
They don't really think...
I know, it's hard. Like, you hear of tradies, saying, oh, I'll buy someone a bottle of rum or something.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, how much is a bottle of rum? It's like...
$50?
$50, $60, I don't know. But...
I buy rum, but I still don't know.
I don't know.
I don't pay attention to shit like that.
But you can get some really good merch for that.
Yeah.
And it's going to hang around, which is what you want, because it's got your name on it, your business name on it.
Hampers, a bottle of rum even, like it's consumable.
Yep.
Once
It's
she's
gone.
gone, first of all, it's not doesn't have your name on it.
Yeah.
Second of all, once she's gone, she's gone. Yeah.
And they've forgotten.
Yeah.
Whereas if you have something that's quality that they're going to keep in their trade ute, whatever, and they're going to use it when they're out on site, they'll be like, "Where's my Rebel Nation power bank?" You know, like plug it in.
So power banks. What else have we been looking at in space?
Cables. So I know it sounds boring.
Yeah, no, I'm sure everyone wants more cables in their life.
Well,
you know,
how
I just look
often
at my drawers and I'm like, you know, there are not enough cables in the office.
Have you ever been in the car and you haven't got a charging cable?
No, I keep a charging cable in the car.
You're organised. Most people don't.
I'm incredibly pedantic, dude. Trust me, you should see my little cable carry. I've got a little caddy with cables in it. They got little cable ties and shit.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I'm an insane person.
Okay. Well, no, you're not normal.
I know. It's okay.
So, like it's all in one. So it has the 4 different cables. So your USB-C, your normal USB, the iPhone charge, the Lightning charger, and the other 2. They're all in one. So you keep that in your bag. So, you know, when your friend's got a different type of phone.
And it's like an adapter?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, you know, you can charge anyone's phone anywhere, basically.
Because you've got those. Yeah, right.
Yeah, they're really popular, even though you won't like them. But,
well, no, and I guess that's the thing too. Like, I know, like, I've got, like, you know, my tablet, my phone, my UE Boom speakers. Like, it's not just my phone.
Yeah.
Like, I've got, and like, my boyfriend's got an iPhone. Like, you know, you got your different devices that all need different things.
Yeah.
I guess, like, you know, if we're going away for a weekend, rather than bringing every single charger cord we need, take one thing in. And that can be his responsibility then.
Yeah.
No, I like that.
That's right. I've converted you. So, yeah, cables are really exciting.
But again, I guess, like you said, it's just what's really useful. What are people going to reach for to use all the time?
Yeah.
That's what keeps you memorable. That's what keeps you top of mind. So if it's a cable, like we use charger cords all the time. It just sounds weird.
Yeah, I know. I think I've converted you. And then there's things like a water bottle with a Bluetooth speaker in the bottom.
What?
So our insulated water bottle that keeps your water cold. Yeah. And in the bottom it has a Bluetooth speaker. So
Jenelle, how come I haven't seen this yet?
So you can go for your walk, have your speaker playing with your water bottle, and then there's
Is it metal, a water bottle?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, I hate drinking out of metal, eh?
Oh,
anyway.
I'll see if I can find you a plastic one. And then there's things like a beanie with Bluetooth speakers in the ear bits.
I'm not sure how useful that'd be in Mackay, man.
No, but they're out there. Yeah. So things like that.
That'd be good for a plane, though.
Yeah.
I think for plane trip and stuff, because it gets freezing
on the plane
on those long haul flights.
Yeah.
And to have like that sort of there, so you're not like having other extra bulk or whatever.
Yeah. Good idea.
Yeah. And then even when you like walk to the toilet and stuff, you can just drown out every other fucker and you're in your own world. I can do that.
Yeah.
And also, it doesn't matter about your hair because it's under the beanie. So you can be like all crappy and frizzy like mine is today, and it won't matter.
I could get you to do an ad for this.
Yeah, I'm sure that's the eloquence, the cussing. It's
Next time you go on an overseas trip, I'll get you one, and you can like video yourself.
Yeah. Great. Yeah, because I'm sure my video skills would also be up to par. Oh, dude. Okay, cool. Okay. Oh, that's really interesting. And so I guess when it comes to those kind of tech products, they're obviously all kind of bigger ticket items, aren't they? Is there anything on like a $20 or under kind of tech
your
product?
Cables a good price.
Okay.
And they're useful and people love them.
Mm-hmm.
So whereas your higher powered power banks, they can be $50 upwards.
Yeah.
But then there's medium powered power banks which are still affordable, which are still usable. Mm-hmm. So it depends on your budget.
Yeah.
And if we know your budget, we can recommend the right product for you.
What's going to suit best. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Thank you very much for that. So if we're going to wrap it all up and leave everyone with just one final thing you want them to remember, what would that be today?
Have a plan.
Yeah.
Know what you're going to do with the products. Know who you're going to give it to, and do your homework. So
I like what you said before too, like because I've done the same thing with clients where they're like, oh, we're thinking of getting some stubby coolers, and I'm like, cool, like what for or whatever, like what are they for, and they're like, oh, we don't know. I'm like, you're a fuckhead. But I don't say that to them, but privately to myself. But like it is that like, and then when I try and talk to people about it, it's kind of like trying to give them examples of like why are you wanting it, and they're like, oh, we just want to have some stuff on hand. I'm like, okay, cool. So just think then a little bit further, and it's like, where traditionally do you give stuff out? Is it for like you're sponsoring something and they want to have something on the tables? Or is it the thank you gift to a client, you want to include something of yours in it? Or is it staff merch so that they, you know, have that pride? And you know what I mean? Like it's kind of, I think sometimes you actually have to give people examples of how they use merch. That's right. So they can go, oh, actually, these are the two ways we use it, sort of thing. You know what I mean? Like you kind of got to guide them through that plan a little bit as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, if a client spent $2,000 with you, for example, you don't want to give them a cheap plastic pen or a stress ball or anything crappy. You want to give them something nice. And you probably want to give them more than a stubby cooler. Even though they'd probably like a stubby cooler, they could add it to their collection of their other 300 stubby coolers. So, yeah, you've just got to understand the reason for giving and who you're giving it to, and you'll get a much better result.
And I think probably then the budget would come into that as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I know it's the same thing for us, and like I'm terrible too, because it's like I'm getting stuff and it's like, what's your budget? I'm like, I don't know, like money stuff. Like, and I always say to you, I'm like, can you, like, no, Min does the quotes now, but back in the day when I did, I'd be like, can you give me like a low end, a middle end, and a high end?
Which is fair because you...
I know, but I wouldn't actually tell you what any of those were.
Well, you kind of know. We kind of know.
You're very good at reading my mind. I don't know if it's just like that in general for people, but I always really appreciate it.
Like a cheap water bottle is a cheap plastic water bottle, or you can get the one with the speaker in it. So you got your low end and your high end, and then you've got something in the middle. So
and I find that's good too. Like I like giving that kind of thing to clients then, because I feel that they can then make a more informed decision as well. So it's like, yes, it's a few more things to look at, but if you're like, okay, you know, here's your middle and beginning, whatever, and then that way it's like I think sometimes that can clarify for them what their budget is as well.
That's right.
Because if you just ask me for a budget straight off, I'm like, I don't know, like $200, $2,000, like I don't know. So you know what I mean? Because I don't know what the cost of things is. But then when Min sends through quotes and stuff or whatever, I'm like, oh, I really like these. Oh, yep, that price makes sense.
That's right.
Like that's how I kind of do my checking and stuff. It's sort of like I've got to see it first to make a budget. But I always do know what it's being used for and why I'm getting it. So that makes a big difference.
Yeah, well, you're way ahead. You know those things. So,
Yeah, I know, man. Like I say, people should make a plan and stuff. Like I do the same thing with marketing. I'm like, should I do radio? For what? What's the what's happening? What do you know what I mean? Like have a little bit of thought and effort into strategy, but I get it. It's, you know, people just throw out ideas and stuff because they're not 100% sure. That's why they're asking.
Yeah, that's right. And that's part of doing your homework as well. So that you know you can kind of drill down and get to the pointy end.
And that's why there's people like us. For if they're not really sure how to work that stuff out, we help them work that stuff out.
And even just a conversation, usually we can get all of that information or decipher what they're trying to say, because...
No, the client deciphering, I fully understand.
Do you know what I mean? You have to read between the lines sometimes, and sometimes you have to prompt them with things, you know, it's what you do. And they go, oh yeah, that's a really good idea, let's do that. So...
But that's it, man. It's like anything. Like that's why, you know, we know industry as well. Other people don't. They know whatever their industry is. Sort
this
of
is what we do.
Yeah, so, exactly. Cool. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Hopefully that wasn't as scary as you thought it was going to be.
No, it was good. It's always good. I enjoyed it. And I think you did a really good job in that soundbite that you did about the corporate gifts too.
Oh, yeah, really. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. It was, like most of the episodes, it was just me mouthing off about my opinion. So
yeah, well, it worked, so...
Yeah, I don't know why people think that about me, but there you go. No, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Jenelle.
Thank you for the opportunity.
That's all right, man. And thank you for joining us as well, and I will see you next time. Cheers.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Marketing and Margaritas. Find more free marketing tips, tricks and laughs at rebelnation.com.au.